There was a song when I was young, in the late 50s, maybe early 60s. It was about that. People think I'm the life of a party because I tell a joke or two. And although I'm smiling on the outside, deep inside I'm blue. So take a good look at my face. You can see my smile's out of face. And with a closer look, you can trace the tracks of my tears. You see, you're crying on the inside. We're crying on the inside. We're smiling on the outside. In the video of that girl, right? She's like this. But then she came in front of the camera. You see, it's all fake. We're pretenders, man. We're just posers. We're just posing. We aren't real. And we're getting more and more unreal. And it's almost like a sin to be real. It's like, oh no, you got to play the game. Why you got to play the game? I don't have to play the game. The Vedas say don't play the game. Be real. Understand, I'm spirit soul. So part and parcel of the supreme soul. And I need activity in life. I need relationships in life that actually satisfy me, the spirit soul. We're lonely because we don't have spiritual relationships. We're lost in relationships. Maybe we have a husband, maybe we have a wife, maybe we have girlfriend, boyfriend, maybe we have children, whatever. We've all got parents, fathers, mothers, grandparents, and so on. We've all got relationships, see. But are they fulfilling us? Are they actually making us happy? And I think most people would say, no, they're not. That's why the divorce rate is out the ceiling, People don't even bother to get married anymore because it's just too difficult to get out. Why get in when you can't get out without a whole bunch of hassle? So just abandon that whole thing. Although it's, since time immemorable, marriage is a spiritual institution. You throw it away. Because we do what we want to do, based on our illusion, based on our false identity, based on our desires, which are influenced by the modes of nature. You see, our passion to enjoy this way and that way, our sensual demands, very, very, loud. They're screaming at us, I want this, I want that, I need this, I need that. Stimulate me like this, stimulate me like that. You see. And we, the spirit soul, are just completely victimized. You see. And we just become absolute servants of the demands of the body, the mind, the senses, other people's bodies, minds, and senses. All those, institutions and so on that influence us. Google controls everybody. You just think a certain way 2 times in a row and Google just in your face. Buy this, This is what you like to do. Do this. Here's a vacation that provides you with what you like to do. This is your interest. They capitalize completely. They know everything about it. They know more about us than we know. You see. And they run our lives. They tell us what's cool and what's not. What's acceptable and what's not. What's right and what's wrong. Not good, but reality, you see, because we don't have any guidance. Just like the person who's lost. Without a guide, without somebody who knows, he will remain lost. You see. But when you're spiritually lost, you're not going to accidentally stumble on the path out of there. You might stumble on the path, but is that not an accident? You've come to a point of desperation where you really start asking the Supreme Lord, help me, I need some help. Or you're just knowing, know how good things are now. There has to be something better, you see. And you really want the best, so again, you're guided, you see. We're spiritual beings. We need spiritual guidance, you see. Material guidance. It's all right for what it is, but it's not complete, you see. And it leads us many times into very difficult situations in life. Mm-hmm. Some people are very, convinced, these are the ones who are a little more, quote, spiritually evolved. They consider themselves like this. They've read more books or they've had some experiences through whatever avenue they have, you see, and they, consider themselves quite, advanced. So they have the philosophy, just follow your heart. Just follow your heart. I hear it all the time. Well, okay, let's say you do follow your heart, and many people do. See? What does that lead you to? It leads you oftentimes into one disaster after another. I mean, who doesn't get into many disasters? Oh, I felt so deeply about this, and it was just so obvious. This is what I had to do. I needed to do it. And I did it. And now I've just created this huge disaster. So I get out of that somehow. You see? And I'm following my heart again into another one. And then another one. So that's not the solution either. People want to be independent. I just do what my heart tells me. You know. Well, if that worked, then there'd be a lot of people on a perfect platform. But again, that's not true. Why? Because the heart's not perfect. The heart's not pure. It's impure. It's contaminated. See, in the Vedic terminology, it's called anartha. It's unwanted desires of the heart. See, and why is so much of this, related to here? Where do we feel lost? Right here, deep inside. Where do we feel, emotion from? Right here. Where do we feel, quote, love from? Burning desires to be with someone. Right here. See? Why? Because that's where I, the spirit soul, am located within the material body. I, the spirit soul, I'm an atomic, fragmental, spiritual part and parcel of the Supreme Soul. I'm located in the heart of the body. See? And that's why all of this feels, I experience it right here. It feels so strong here. That's why the heart is the symbol of love all over the world, every country. See? It doesn't change with the language. See? It's the symbol, universal symbol of love. So, when the heart is contaminated, the emotions, the feelings are there, but the guidance is not correct. And so I get, in difficult situations. And I just get buried deeper and deeper, into depression and loneliness because that didn't work either. And so I'm so lonely. And so now it's epidemic. People go in their room, and don't come out for 6 years. Don't come out of the room. That's normal? That's human life? No. Absolutely not. It's the nature of the soul to be relating to other people, you see. If you notice, there's a few animals that are exceptions, but most of the animal kingdom is where they are with others of their same species. You see. I remember one time I was driving through Colorado. And Colorado's got a lot of open country, big, expensive, open country. And there was a huge, you can't call it a pasture, it's just like a huge, many thousands sometimes of square kilometers, with a fence around it. And there was 2 horses in this vast expanse. There was no other living creatures around, but these 2 horses are standing side by side. One had his head on the other one's neck, and the other one had his head on his neck. And they were just like that. You see, it's normal. It's normal. That's the soul's normal situation. To be with other people, to be in loving relationships, to be nourished by love. That's normal. See, the dog is no exception. The horse is no exception. The dog is always wanting to be with you, right? That's why people like dogs so much. You see, because they're easy, right? And they always like you. If you do anything, they still like you. You can say anything and whatever, you can forget to feed them, whatever, they still like you. You see? Whereas the wife, the husband, you make one little slip in what you say, and you got a problem. In fact, there's a test to see who loves you the most, your dog or your wife, or your dog and your husband, whichever side of the fence you're on. So you take your dog and you take your spouse and you put them in the trunk of your car, you close the trunk, and you go away for 8 hours. At the end of 8 hours, you come back, you open the trunk, and see which one is the most glad to see you. Don't don't do that test. It might be not too good results. But yeah, you know, animals are simple, right? The more advanced we are, meaning the higher up the evolutionary scale, coming to higher forms of life, evolution means the soul in higher bodies, consciously speaking, the more complex life becomes. So it goes from very simple to very complex. And the human form of life is the most complex, you see. We're always struggling with that complexity. We can't be simple. We got to be very complicated. You see, we always got to try to figure everything out, you know, analyze everything, and so on and so on. And again, because we try to do it independent of this absolute knowledge, the guidance of the Supreme Lord, you know, we just go around in circles, lost, right? We just go in circles, figure this out, figure that out, and we're back where we started. You know, didn't figure anything out. Just went through a bunch of ideas, you know, experiments maybe, you know, things that we thought would be good, and we come back to the same place. So the idea is, as a spirit soul, I need spiritual guidance. And there is absolute guidance.